Oh, it's me. I'm on first. He's put me on. Oh, there he comes. Good evening, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to the Hooked on Wrestling Weekly Sunday Quiz. You've done it again, Paul. You've put me on first. I'm on the wrong side. People are going to go absolutely crazy. But should
I'm
we
trying to
let
get
them
it over.
stew this evening, or should we?
I think we
Flip it
leave
to
it.
normal
I think we leave it. Let's leave it. I'm
Well,
trying desperately to get it over.
we're trying desperately to get over. That's quite the wrestling analogy there.
That's very sad, isn't it?
That's you're used to that, talking in that parlance. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you're having a very fine weekend, whatever you've been up to. What have you been doing, Paul? I know you've been on holiday for a little bit. You've just back now.
I
Had a
have.
good time.
I've been on holiday, but a wonderful time. Been at a nice little cottage in Pickering. Just outside Pickering. It was lovely with the family. Richard's here. Hey, Richard. How was your week anyway?
Mine was okay. Yeah, it was pretty busy as well. Starting to get into my mode. My main, for those of you that don't know me, my main source of income is around football, and I'm actually, believe it or not, preparing for the new season. Even though the Premier League season's finished today, but I'm an EFL man, so I'm preparing for the new one. And just very quickly for those of you that are in early today, if you may have noticed, a lot of you that are here, if you're here now, you're probably hardcore How devotees. And you may have noticed there wasn't a podcast this week between any of us, between this core one anyway, the How to Be Great podcast.
Yes, sorry about that.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week. Basically, Paul was away, so I had the choice between not doing the podcast at all or bringing in Chris again as a replacement. And quite frankly, we'd rather have nothing. No, we wouldn't. I'm only joking. Chris was excellent on the one he was on a couple of weeks ago. I was simply very busy as well, and I had a massive computer meltdown. I think I mentioned it on last week's quiz, and I was saying I was very panicky. Well, basically, my laptop of 10 years has now died. But I have managed to save all the information, and it's okay. So I'm on a slightly different angle today, if you notice, because I'm on a different machine, different screen.
So you are.
And but I've managed to save all my stuff. But on Wednesday night or Tuesday night when we normally record the podcast, I was not in a position to be able to record and get something online really. So I will be this week. So not a problem. Richard has asked if I'm a Watford fan. I'm not a Watford fan. No, I'm a Plymouth Argyle fan, not Watford. Watford beat Plymouth Argyle on the day after I was born in the FA Cup semi-final. So don't bring up that Watford to me in that context.
So, guys, I am just trying to share. I'm actually doing something I've not done before, Rob. I'm trying to share our little quiz on the Relentless Wrestling Facebook page. And having very little joy with it at the moment, if I'm being completely honest.
Is it supposed to be a simulcast? Because that's right, we bought our competition.
Well, trying for a simulcast, but frankly, it's not really doing the job. And so I think I'm just going to sack it off.
Nice, isn't it?
Well, I've not promised anything. I feel like I'm taking away the attention that should be on this endeavour, pissing around with a sign endeavour. So hello, good evening. Hello, everybody. We've got in tonight. We've got Chris, we've got Will, we've got Leanne, we've got Matt Barber watching the darts and the footy, no doubt. We've got Patrick, we've got Adam. What a great group. What a lovely little group we have in this evening. So, guys, I don't see any newbies in tonight. So if you'd all send your little hello to Chris, your little wave. He's lurking in the background as per usual. And we'll get started in what? Whoa, just God. Time flies, doesn't it, when you're pissing around on the internet?
Yeah, when you're not concentrating and you're allowing me to waffle on about EFL and podcasts, and yes, it does go quickly. That's a nice mug, Paul. What you got there?
Well, it's not a Hooked on Wrestling mug.
No, I know it's not, but it's a strange shaped mug. I like it.
It's a curved mug. For my birthday, my mum bought me a nice teapot and mug set. So I've got this nice teapot, which is a Pebble Dash teapot. Look at this. There you go. And it's got fresh tea leaves in rather than tea bags. So I'm going for that. This is my new thing, rather than drinking beer. Because as our regulars will have maybe noticed since the start of lockdown, my face has expanded considerably, and I'd like it to stop expanding. Hey, Matt. We've got a first timer in. Say hello, everybody. Welcome, Matt. You're going to enjoy this, I hope.
Welcome, Matt.
Welcome, Matt. Oh, very good. We're just going to give it a minute.
He's never heard that in his life. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, I bet.
Any Matt who hear that shit all the time.
So we'll just give it another minute, and then we will crack into giving the rules and how we play, and then we will get into the quiz at 8:05. By the way, I accidentally tried a gluten-free beer this week.
Which one?
I tried a gluten-free. What was it? A beer Moretti, I think, and it was very, very nice. Enjoyed it immensely. Hello, Amy. Hello, Mick. We've got some newbies in there, and Danielle. We've got a new audience this week. Look at this. Look at this, people, mate. The word is spreading. I think it must be Hatchamania who's doing the trick. But anyway, shall we get into the rules? Now, the rules, guys, there are not many. It's a very laid-back hour or so of quizzing, but we just want to give you an idea on how you submit your answer and how you go. So we are going to have, one of our regulars could probably do this spiel for us now. But anyway, we're going to have 20 questions over the next hour or so, 10 of which will be from me, 10 of which will be have been written and will be asked by Rob. Okay. What we'll do is, like, for instance, if I'm asking a question, I will ask the question of Rob. I will give it sort of a minute for you guys to submit an answer. Then Rob will give his answer. Might be right, might be wrong. We'll do that 20 questions. So how do you submit yours? You do it quite simply by sending us a direct message to the Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page. Okay. So if you haven't done it already, if you're new, go to the Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page, send us a DM. Our referee, our trained referee, Hatchamania, is waiting for your hellos. What we'll do is he'll send you a little wave or a thumbs up or something back to let you know he's received your hello. And that way you know your answers are getting through. Okay, so don't put any answers in the comments. They'll be deleted. Put them all on direct message. A few things about submitting your answer. You get a point for each correct question. There is a bonus point for the first 3 to submit an answer. So speed counts, discourages you from Googling as well. Not anybody does. First 3 to send one through to Chris will get a bonus point. What we'll do is every 5 questions, we'll read out the bonus points for the preceding 5 questions, so you can add them to your score as you go along. In terms of submitting your answer, a couple of things. First of all, only your first answer counts. So if you realize you made a mistake in whatever way, unlucky, sorry, please don't submit again, because you'll just clog Chris's DMs up. You've missed out. And secondly, to help the guy along when he's looking at compiling the answers, please number your answers. So 1 answer, 2 answer, 3 answer, and so on and so forth. At the end of the quiz, we'll ask you to top your scores and put them in the group. We'll check the top few and see how we go from there. So also right at the end, what we'll do is I've got 2 Undertaker t-shirts to give away, 2 Last Ride t-shirts. What we'll do is we'll draw those names out at random, and anybody who's answered all 20 questions in some form or fashion will be in the draw. So Rob, Chris, I think I've covered all the bases, haven't I?
I think Jenny, so, yes.
Just a sec, Jenny, yes, you DM your answer to the Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page. Please check that now. Go to our page and send us a quick hello on a direct message. Chris will send you a hello back or a thumbs up back, so you know that that your answers are being received and logged. If you don't get a thumbs up back, you're sending it to the wrong place. So please do flag it up in the comments if you've not got one back. So this week, what we're going to do, the first 5 questions are going to be from Rob, then the middle 10 are going to be from me, and then Rob will take us home with the last 5. Yeah, it's pretty plain sailing this nowadays, isn't it, mate?
Well, we would like to think so, wouldn't we? And by the way, when my face went big then, when I suddenly came in like that looming, it was because I was actually just trying to check out some pictures of the icons up on our screens, because we have an Amy Parsons in the room tonight, and one of my best friends is called Chris Parsons, and his wife is called Amy. And I was just trying to see if that's. I don't know that she's a wrestling fan, so I don't think it is. If it is you, Amy, and indeed Chris, good evening. But I think it is someone else. But it's always good to see different names. There's quite a few different names coming through.
Hold the phone, guys. Hold the phone. We have got a mastermind champion joined our quiz tonight.
A what?
That's a first. Adam Pearson. Hello, Adam. First time playing a quiz. Officially a mastermind champion whose specialist subject was wrestling.
Really?
So good luck, everybody else. Rob just got very excited with quiz royalty coming through.
Well, I'm thinking teams aren't finalised for the Hooked on Wrestling Civil War.
I knew you'd be saying that.
Which we haven't forgotten, folks, because it's just a case of getting all our what did they say? All our ducks lined up, or
all our ducks in a row. Adam, you're a late you're a latecomer. Did you get our rules? Did you get the rules on the entering via DM? Chris, have you received the requisite number of entries of hellos? Well, he's not sure. He's not sure. But let's crack on anyway. Let's crack on. Rob, the floor is yours, my friend.
It's me to start, isn't it? So, and
send in your DMs for answers.
Yes, I will. I will take my time over question one, just so everyone that's new understands exactly how it works. And indeed, you will find. I knew someone was going to complain about the cameras being. Normally, Paul and I are the other way around, but we're trying something different.
Changing it up this week.
So yes, you will find there are 20 questions, but don't expect it to be done in the next 20 minutes. We do normally finish up. We normally finish up around about 20 past 9:30. So we will take our time. We will have a chat between the questions. We will throw some opinions and discussion points out to you all night, and you can join in. We can see the chat coming through. So good evening to a few new people that are in over the last few minutes. Ash is with us, Callum, Mark, and a few others that are coming through. So I'm about to do question one of my five. My first five anyway. As per usual with me, I've got a little connection between them. You don't have to get the connection for a point. You can simply answer the 5 questions and you'll score points for each one you get right. So if you get all 5 of mine right, you'll score 5 points. You won't get anything extra for getting the connection, but the earlier you get it in your head, it might just help you towards getting your answers. And to reiterate what Paul said, all of the answers will come through to our Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page, and we will give bonus points to the first ones that come through. So Chris is manning that. He looks after that. He will tell us, after 5 questions, he'll tell us the bonus points. So, for example, if you get 3 out of the 5 right, but you're quickest on 2 of them, he will say 2 bonus points. So you'll take your 3 and then you'll add your 2. So your score at that point will be 5. I think we've had some problems with that over the last few weeks of not really explaining it well. So we'll try and help you along as we go in terms of how the bonuses work. Okay. So simply with my 5, just answer the questions. But remember, in the back of your mind, there is a little theme amongst it. A few more names coming in. Good evening, Scott. Good evening, Kerr. Good to see you all. And don't forget, you're not sending your answers. You're not posting your answers in the chat. You're sending it to the Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page. That is the biggest rule of them all. Question number 1. Finally, we start. Which team won the WCW Tag Team Championships on 3 occasions at on 3 occasions at consecutive WCW pay-per-views in 1999? Which team won the WCW Tag Team Championships on 3 separate occasions on 3 consecutive WCW pay-per-views in 1999? To answer your question there, Ash, please send it to the Hooked on Wrestling Facebook page. I think you've just caught up with me saying that because you just said okay. So what we'll now do is essentially Paul and I will fill for a minute or so while everyone sends in their answers. Chris, we can see Chris on our screens. Chris the ref, we can see him off screen to you, but we can see him, and he gives us a little nod when we can carry on. And in a minute, Paul will give me his answer, but that'll be an unofficial answer because we play sort of unofficially against one another. So Paul will tell me his answer in a minute, but that doesn't mean it's correct. It just means that's his guess. And if all you do is wait for us to give our answer and then go with what we say, A, you won't score any bonus points because you won't be quick enough, and B, certainly in my case, you probably won't score that highly because I'm not that bright. Quite as the last few weeks of actually, I was quite good last week. 2 weeks ago, I was awful. I got 1 out of 10 2 weeks ago, but I did all right.
I can promise you that you don't want to follow my answer on this one. I've spent a lot of money and spending a lot of money on very expensive therapy to block out the cesspit that was WCW in 1999. So thank you for dragging that up. I've no idea. Is the honest answer to this one? Absolutely no idea. So I'm going to take a complete shot in the dark. When everyone's had a little bit more time. And I am going to say, what am I going to say? That's a really good question.
I don't know. We all want to know.
I'm gonna say Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio.
Okay, Paul goes for Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio.
Absolutely no clue.
It's his answer to question 1, but that's very much unofficial. So here we go. Number 2, who lost the first ever match on a Bound for Glory pay-per-view? But there is a bit more to this question. So the question is, who lost the first ever match on a Bound for Glory pay-per-view? But I will say that this wrestler is also well known for losing another first match ever on another show. So who lost the first ever match on a Bound for Glory, TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view? This wrestler is also known for losing another first match ever on a different show. That probably sounds... I've probably made that sound a little bit more complex than it really is, but there is certainly something else in wrestling that you know as the first match ever was between 2 wrestlers. And this one person is in both. He was in the first match ever on something else, and he was in the first ever match on a Bound for Glory. Speaking of which, have I shown you my shirt this week, Paul? I'm rocking the TNA 2002 shirt.
Very nice.
What, it's all right, isn't it? And I've found this in a drawer. I found a drawer full of old shirts. So I've got a couple of weeks ago, I said I'd run out of first-time wrestling shirts to wear on the quiz. Forget that. I can go until about the end of October. Now I found loads in the drawer. And you know, this particular one, a few months ago, I didn't fit in. And now, with my regime during lockdown, well, I still don't fit in it, but it's just a little less tight than it was.
Mate, I feel like you're being a real meanie with the questions this week. Like, these are hard. You're taking out your past failures on me and our followers here, aren't you? So I'm going to take an absolute stab at this one. So the first Bound for Glory pay-per-view would have been in about 2004. I think maybe 2005. It's definitely in that neck of the woods. And I am going to say, I'm going to say Rhino.
Okay, I'll state once again that there is first ever. This person is well known for another first ever as well. Slightly, if I said the other first ever, you'd have got it immediately. Number three. Who they are? Mine are quite hard this week. Actually,
they're not always this hard, Amy. Rob has clearly had a bad week.
I have started with a hard few. Number 3, who did Tiger Mask wrestle in the first match ever to be rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1983? And since it's been such a hard start, I'll give a clue. That person is European. Who did Tiger Mask wrestle in the first match ever to be rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer in New Japan in 1983? And the answer you're looking for is a European. And you'll have heard of them. It's not someone obscure. It's someone you've heard of.
Well, if it's the answer I think it is, it fits in well with the theme I'd kind of clocked. Obviously, I picked an answer for question 1.
How can you clock a theme? You don't know the answers so far.
Well, basically, I made an educated guess on question 1, and if that answer is correct, then that's led me to my complete shot in the dark guess on question 2. Okay. And if that theme is right, then I'm in the right ballpark for question 3. I think a lot of people will know this. I don't think this is an obscure question. I think if you've got any sort of grasp on wrestling history outside WWE, you'd probably have a real good shot at getting this. The buzzing has gone quite quiet on my phone, which suggests most people have now answered. So I'm going to offer my answer. I think it's the Dynamite Kid.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to see what you think the connection is. Send me a private message so I can see what you think the connection is. I won't read it until we've done the 5. But
I was going to say I don't want you to poo-poo me, so I will.
I won't read it. Have you just done it? Because I've just seen a 1 come up on my private chat.
I've just done it.
I won't read my private chat until the end of the round, just so I don't give it away. But be interested to see what you think. Right, question number 4. Quite a lot of mine are quite old today, actually, but my second 5 are much more up to date, or a bit more up to date. But these are quite old. Number 4. When the fabulous Rougeau brothers were heels in the WWF in around 1989, what kind of boys did their theme music suggest they were?
And there goes my theme.
When the fabulous Rougeau brothers were heels in the WWF in 1989, what kind of boys did their theme music suggest they were? In essence, the fabulous Rougeau brothers came out to the ring, and their theme music sung "We're the something boys." Fill in the blank is essentially what I'm asking for.
Just for the latecomers, guys, can we ask a quick favour to keep Chris organised? When you're submitting an answer, could you please put a question number on it? So, for instance, this one question, just put 4. Your answer. Makes things so much easier in our little nerve centre to scope out all the answers. And if you don't know, it is quite helpful just to type "don't know" as well. Pedantic, I know, but it helps Chris massively with all his answers coming in.
And importantly,
the
number, especially as the later we go on. At the moment, we're only on questions 3, 4, 5, etc. But later on, when we're doing 14, 15, 16,
exactly.
Yeah, putting the number is most helpful to Chris.
So a big thank you, by the way, to all the people playing this for the first time. Hopefully you'll enjoy this. We do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. We also do a written quiz on our website at hookedonwrestling.co.uk /quiz. That's a 5-minute flash quiz. You've got 20 questions, 5 minutes. Can you answer them all? That's the thing. So please, if you enjoy this tonight, join us again. We've been running this since the start of lockdown, really, and just did it as a private, quick little thing to keep people amused after we had to cancel our WrestleMania events. And we enjoyed it so much and got such a good following that we've decided to carry it on. So you're stuck with us for the foreseeable, I guess. We'll send you a reminder out, everyone, anyway, of the next event. So please join us if you wish. My answer, by the way,
I did well on the website quiz this week. I'm normally
that makes a change. That makes a change.
I got 14 out of 18.
Yeah. Because you discounted the 2 questions that weren't in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I know it's meant to be out of 20, but 2 of them were film questions, and I don't know anything about film. So,
Jenny, don't worry. You will get this week is quite an old school week, but there'll be plenty dashed around for your 12-year-old over the next few weeks. I've gone quite old school on my questions this week as well, but that's not regular. We do try and make it a mix. But anyway, the answer to question 4, Rob, is from me, the All-American boys.
Okay, that's Paul's answer to number 4. Just before I do number 5, a reminder, if you did join us late and you didn't quite hear it, that for everybody that sends in all 20 questions, doesn't matter if you get 0 out of 10 or 0 out of 20, 19 out of 20 or anything in between. If you answer all 20 questions today, you play the quiz all the way through, we're doing a random draw at the end for some Undertaker Last Ride merch. So I would say, I don't like to bandy the word exclusive around because it's obviously not just Hooked on Wrestling that's doing it, but I don't know of anyone outside of WWE that you can get this from. So I think this is a fairly sort of a non-WWE exclusive, if you like, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, read question 5 out, and while we're submitting people's answers, I'll tell you a really funny story about this Undertaker merch.
I like that. Okay, number 5 is another TNA question, actually. Number 5, who completed the triumvirate of Triple X with Low Key and Christopher Daniels? So in TNA there was a trio, 3 of them, and in Triple X was Low Key (Senshi), as he became later on in TNA, and Christopher Daniels. But who was the third? So that's question 5. Who was the third member of Triple X, along with Low Key and Christopher Daniels?
Okay, I think I've got that one, but I have no clue on the theme, so I've clearly got quite a few wrong. But anyway, so this Undertaker merch, we did a competition with WWE Euroshop in association with The Last Ride when they did the last episode. What was that, 3 weeks ago now? And they offered us 10 T-shirts and 10 mugs to give away, which I gratefully accepted. So got the quiz done, got the various giveaways done, and they sent the merch. Opened the box, and there was literally 1 shirt of each size in there and 1 mug. So someone in their internal had made a little bit of a balls up and thought we were just sending out 1 of each. So I got in touch with my guy at Euroshop and told him what the crack was, and basically sent him what I needed. So I needed another 5 or 6 T-shirts or whatever else, and another 9 mugs. So now I got my 9 mugs, but I also got 4 of each size of T-shirt. So I ended up with about 30 T-shirts or something like that. So we're going to be giving these away for quite some time. So yeah,
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will also look after your contributors on Hooked on Wrestling.
How much merch have I sent you the last couple of weeks? You schemer.
That's true. I have a Hooked on Wrestling shirt and a Hooked on Wrestling mug. But bear in mind the shirt also has a the catchphrase on our motto on it, what I wrote. So you know.
I got sent a hoodie as well, like totally Hooked on Wrestling. It's got a big logo on the back too and a nice pillow. Check this out.
Oh, he's off. I can say anything now. He can't hear me.
Now you too can rest easily with a Hooked on Wrestling pillow.
I love that though.
I love that. I think it's cool.
I would call that a cushion.
It is a cushion. You're absolutely right.
Rather than a pillow.
We're the Louis Vuitton of wrestling merchandise now with our nice little print pattern. So anyway, stalling. Sorry guys. My answer to this one is I think Elix Skipper.
Okay, that's Paul's answer. Elix Skipper. Okay. So what we'll do in a second is we'll go through the answers, the correct answers, to give you an idea. So mark these as you go along, and then at the end of the 5, we'll bring Chris in. And he will tell you your bonuses. So what you need to do is add up your total score out of 5 and then add on what Chris says. Okay, that's the way to do the scoring. So I'm going to tell you, Paul, before I do the actual individual answers, I'm going to tell you that you've got 3 out of 5. Okay, I know that's a departure from the norm, but I'm going to tell you that so you can work on whether or not whether you can think of the connection or not.
I'll take that.
I want to give the connection at the start, really, so I can explain it as we go. So, any last thoughts of what the connection could be, given that I've told you that you've got 3 right?
Well, no, none whatsoever. I thought it was beasts or animals or nature or something like that at first, but no, I've cocked it completely.
Okay, well I'll do the. Should I do all the answers and then do the connection? Or
do the answers first. Do the answers first.
Okay, at this point, folks, if you think you've got the connection, I'll allow you to put it in the chat. You won't score any points for it, but I'm just interested to see if you've got the connection, okay? Here's number 1. Which team won the WCW Tag Team Championships on 3 consecutive WCW pay-per-views in 1999? I haven't actually noted down the 3 that it was, but it's around about August, September, October time. 3 consecutive pay-per-views. Harlem Heat.
No, they were still together, were they? Wow,
well,
okay.
They reformed. They reformed for a little bit in around about that era. So Harlem Heat was the answer. I think you said Ray and Kidman, didn't you? I think they might have come up with them at some point. Number 2.
I suddenly think someone's got the theme, and I think it's Adam. I think he's nailed the theme. I am brilliant. Well done.
Number 2, I'll mention it at the end. Number 2, who lost the first ever match on a Bound for Glory? I said that this wrestler also was known for losing another first match ever elsewhere. What if I said to you, Paul, they lost the first ever match on Nitro?
Is it... Oh, crap. No, I don't know.
The answer is Jushin Thunder Liger.
You're kidding. And he lost the first Bound for Glory match. Well, that's incredible.
First ever Bound for Glory match was Samoa Joe beating Jushin Thunder Liger.
Wow.
The first ever Nitro match was Brian Pillman, or Flying Brian.
Wow.
Beating Jushin Thunder Liger. Number 3, who did Tiger Mask wrestle in the first match ever to be rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer in New Japan in 1983? It was the Dynamite Kid. Yep. Number 4, who when the Fabulous Rougeaus were heels in 1989, they were known as the What Boys, as Paul said correctly. Was the All American Boys. That was their tune, the All American Boys. And number 5, the triumvirate of Triple X was made up of Low Key, Christopher Daniels, and, well, Paul said Elix Skipper. I will give him a point for that. But to help with the little theme, he was known as Primetime Elix Skipper.
Of course. I was wondering where that was.
So if any of you put Elix Skipper, folks, you're right. You'll get a point. Don't worry. You didn't have to say Primetime, but that was the little extra clue. So all of those answers, it was Harlem Heat, Jushin Thunder Liger, Dynamite Kid, All American Boys, and a Primetime Elix Skipper. So Heat was the WWF show, wasn't it? Sunday Night Heat. Thunder was the secondary WCW Thursday night or Wednesday night, whenever it was, show. Dynamite, obviously, current AEW show. All American Wrestling was Was that basically the forerunner to Raw? I think it was their Monday night show before Raw.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
wasn't live, and then Primetime Wrestling was another old school WWF show. I think it might have been on a Saturday night. Was Primetime. So there you have it. It was hard. Now, let's say, folks, if you got 2 or 3 of those, I think you did pretty well. Paul beats my ass every week on this quiz. He's normally very, very good, and he got 3 of them. So I think 3 is an excellent score if you got that. They were hard. So no, Jenny, you've said 2, and that's embarrassing. It really isn't. They were hard questions.
Nope.
So
well, and you might get some more. If we bring in Chris now, we'll do the bonus points. And you might add, some of you guys might add to their score. So let's bring in Hatchamania for his first appearance of the night. Good evening, Chris.
Evening, gents. How are we doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad, thank you.
Brilliant. Well, we've got some cracking scores. So found some great newbies. So let's have some bonus points, mate, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I will say it's great seeing there's loads of new names coming in on the answers, which is really good to see this week. But for bonus points in the first round, we've got Patrick Heafield, 5. Will Kitchen, 3. Adam Ferran, 2. Leanne Calderhouse, 2. Adam Pearson, 1. Matt Barber, 1. And Matt Thorpe, 1.
One more time, if you will.
Yep, Patrick Heafield, 5. Will Kitchen, 3. Adam Ferran, 2. Leanne Culverhouse, 2. Adam Pearson, 1. Matt Barber, 1. And Matt Thorpe, 1.
Wow, impressive. I think we should just get a shirt made, Patrick Heafield 5. That should be definitely on wrestling, because we say it long enough. And one of our guys, Adam's just pointing out, Chris has had his lockdown haircut.
I have indeed, yes.
Wow.
Maybe a very good spot.
Maybe Rob will follow suit soon.
I don't think I've had my haircut since the Royal Rumble party.
Right, Chris,
I honestly don't think I have.
We're going to bid you adieu for now, and I'm going to crack into my block, mate. See you soon. Thanks for those.
So just to reiterate, guys, for all of those bonuses, however many you got out of 5, it's plus the bonuses. So so you work out what your score was plus whatever. So if Chris didn't say your name, that doesn't mean you didn't score any. It just means you weren't quick enough on the bonuses, because we do have a few dozen people playing, so it's quite hard to get into that top 3. So there we go. And interestingly, Patrick Heafield, you said he got 5 and got the 5 bonuses. I think he also mentioned that he didn't get the connection, so he just fired in the answers very impressively.
Right, so let's go on to mine. So I'm going to do slightly differently this week, guys, from how Rob's done it. I've got a block of 10 questions, okay? The first 9 are all seemingly random wrestling questions, okay? Some of you played this before will get this concept, and if you're a pub quiz veteran, you'll get this concept too. First 9 are just random questions. Question 10, I will tell you now, is...
15.
Sorry, question 15, the 10th of my block of questions, so it will be question 15, is what is the connection between all of the previous 9 answers? Okay, so I'll tell you now, that connection is not a wrestling connection. Okay, it's a non-wrestling connection you've got to see. The other thing is you can submit that connection to Chris at any point. So if you think you've got it after 4 or 5 questions, submit it on a DM, preface it by saying connection, and then give your answer to make it easy for him to spot. If you get it, if you're one of the first 3 to get it, put it in, you'll get your bonus. If you get it at any point, you'll get your point for getting it right, if you're right. But if you're one of the first 3 who sends it in, you'll get your bonus. But also, make sure that if you do it, if you submit it, you're sure, because you don't get another guess. You only get one shot, as Eminem might say. And what we'll do after the first 5 questions, we'll get Chris in to give us the bonuses, but we won't give the answers to any of these questions until all 10 have been done, because otherwise I'll give people clues to the theme that haven't got it. Okay. So no, Matt, just to answer your question, we'll start from question 6 on this one. Famously, I keep slipping in and getting it wrong as I've written them, so I will try and correct myself. And please, everyone in DMs everyone on the comments will correct me. But I'm going to read you questions 6 to 15. I will slip up and I will try and correct myself. But it's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., etc. So, are we all ready?
Yeah, just before we do, just to clarify, if you want to guess the connection at any point, you can guess that, but you only get one go at it. The connection is question 15. So if you want to guess the connection, you either put 15 and what the connection is, or write connection and whatever that is, because Chris will get it. Chris is a smart cookie. He will get it. But the first question that Paul is about to do is question number 6. So please, for the answer to that one, put 6 and then your answer. The connection is something separate. When Paul says it's a non-wrestling connection, I assume you mean, like, for example, last week, your 9 questions were wrestling answers, but the connection was horror movies. So that's a non-wrestling connection. So the questions, I assume, will be wrestling questions, but the connection will be something outside of wrestling. I nearly gave an example then, but I thought just in case I can say what it happens to be.
Indeed.
One final little thing before you carry on. People might notice occasionally I'm sort of looking up and away because I've got my TV on in the background. I was keeping an eye on the EFL Championship playoff semi-final, which was just finished. And the goal scorer was Andre. It was Swansea 1-0 against Brentford. The goal scorer was Andre Ayew, and the little strapline at the bottom as they went to break said Andre the Giant. So just
Brilliant.
to keep it wrestling tonight, Swansea or the Sky TV graphic people are coming up with some wrestling stuff. Maybe they're keeping an eye on us while I keep an eye on them.
Right. Anyway, question 6. Question 6. What gimmick did John Tenter use initially when he joined WCW in 1995? Okay.
95.
What gimmick did John Tenter use initially when he joined WCW in 1995?
I'm just making
so
a
essentially
note to decide
to rephrase that. Obviously, John Tenter used numerous gimmicks in WCW. Which one was the first?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I just realised. Yeah, good point. I've just realised that my answer that I typed down to the side is wrong. I've got a different answer for you. Okay, I think I know that. So I'll give my answer to that in a minute. Mick Connolly says if he puts not wrestling for question 15, will he get the point? No. Good try. But we'll have to be a little bit more specific than that.
You'll have to give us a bit more.
As you should be able to tell by now, because Paul's answering my questions and I'm answering his, we don't liaise on our questions beforehand. What we do is we send them to Chris, so Chris will tell us if there's too many things that are similar or anything like that. But we've accidentally, in our first 6 questions this evening, gone quite non-WWE, haven't we? I've had a couple of TNA questions and a WCW one in there. And you've thrown in a WCW one at number 6. I'm sure that'll change. Certainly my other 5, I think, are pretty much WWE. So that will come back.
So let's have your answer to question number 6.
Yeah, I wrote something down immediately because it's a connections round. I'll write my answers down so I can see them and try and draw a connection. And I was about to go for one thing, and then I suddenly remembered a different name. So I am going to say that he was called Avalanche.
Okay, that's your answer, is it?
I think he was called Avalanche.
Okay. Question number 7. What did the late Bam Bam Bigelow have tattooed on his head? What did the late Bam Bam Bigelow have tattooed on his head? I've noticed there is one person at least, and they will remain nameless, that is waiting until Rob sends his answers in to answer their questions. I will warn you now, that's a dangerous game. Rob's average score is about 3 out of 10. So question number 7.
Certainly,
what did the late Bam Bam Bigelow have tattooed on his head?
I will certainly say that that's true in the last 6 weeks or so, except for last week. I did quite well last week, having done very badly the 3 or 4 weeks before that. I think I know this answer. Is the actual word? How important is the wording?
For the theme, it's fairly important. For the giving you the point, it's open to interpretation.
Okay. Well, do you want my answer now, or is it?
Yeah, go on.
Is
Give
it
it
time.
Give us
Well,
it. Give us it.
I would say it was fire.
Okay.
It looked like fire. So that's the answer that I'm going to say.
Okay, fantastic.
But that doesn't connect me all that well with. Well, I suppose it might do. It might do. But okay, go on. I can think of a very, very, very broad connection.
Question number 8. Question number 8. Which masked superstar made his long-awaited WWE return as a mystery entrant at the 2018 Royal Rumble when he drew number 21? Which masked superstar made his long-awaited WWE return as a mystery entrant at the 2018 Royal Rumble, drawing number 21?
I've got a. What are you doing there?
Just having a little stretch.
Distraction. I've got an answer to that, but again, it doesn't fit in with anything so far. This is where this is such a fun variant. If we were playing this as a pub quiz, I would skip that, and I would come back to it at the end when I think I've got the connection. But of course, because we play this in a slightly different manner, I can't do that. I have to offer up an answer and fire in. Okay. I'm trying. Sometimes I have to try and take logic out of it, not think of what you would come up with, and not think of what the connection may be, but just try and answer the question in isolation. So, a couple of years ago, out of almost nowhere, I believe that not expecting him to be in the Royal Rumble, we saw Rey Mysterio, and he's masked. So I'm going to say Rey Mysterio. I could try and think of other things that would fit your theme. But I haven't got the theme yet, so I'm going to say Rey Mysterio, but I'm going to put a big question mark next to it because I don't know that that's
Okie doke. Question number 9. What was the tag team name used when the wrestlers previously known as King Tonga and the Tonga Kid changed their individual names and came together as a team? Okay, so to rephrase that, back in the day, 2 wrestlers known as King Tonga and the Tonga Kid came together as a tag team. At that point, they changed their individual names, but I want to know what their tag team name was.
Okay. Did you specify a company?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure about that. I've got an answer for that, but I'm not sure I've got the right era. It could be a couple of different things. So King Tonga
and the Tonga Kid came together as a tag team. What did they...
Did you give a year?
Nope.
Trying to work out who I think's who. So they would obviously have had different names. I think I know who both of them are, but it's difficult for.
Well, we've had plenty of guesses now. So let's have your answer. Who are they?
Well, I think King Tonga is Haku.
Right.
And I think the Tonga Kid might be I can't remember his name, but I think I'm going to say the Islanders. I think he might have been called Tama. I think it might have been Tama and Haku as the Islanders with their flowery trunks.
I'll take that answer.
I'm not certain.
So that's the answer. That's question 9. So we're going to read out question 10 now. After question 10, remember, we'll give out the bonus points for that chunk of 5, but we won't give you the answers to that chunk of 5. They'll come at the end of the next block as well. So bear with us. Right, question 10. Greg Valentine, Barry Horowitz, and Jeff Gaylord once teamed together at a Survivor Series pay-per-view under what collective team name?
Great.
Greg Valentine, Barry Horowitz, and Jeff Gaylord once teamed together at Survivor Series under what collective team name? Rob, you got any idea on the theme yet, mate?
Not
obviously don't.
A clue, old son.
I've seen at least one correct guess come through and at least one incorrect guess. And I have a feeling that some people who have submitted their guess already after the last couple are going to go, maybe I got that a bit early.
No, I can't see. This is question 10, right?
This is question 10.
This is question 10. This is the 5th one that you've asked.
Mm-hmm.
And of the 5 that you've asked, I'm almost certain I know 3. This being one of them, and I don't know about the other 2. So I'm trying to focus
on the 3.
On those 3, and I can't see anything really. Do you know the of the 3 people that you just mentioned who were that team in question? One of them was would have been Terry Funk as well. Did you know that? I
did indeed. And one of them was considered to be Glenn Jacobs, apparently.
I was going to say Kane was going to possibly that would have been a list of a very long amount of
wouldn't
he had before being Kane.
So anyway, give us your answer.
My answer, and I don't mean the British wrestling royalty family, but I am going to say the Knights.
The Knights is your answer. Okie doke. Fantastic. Chris,
is that okay?
He's given,
you don't need
it's
more
all right.
than that.
No, that's fine. He's putting his finger up, so he's suggesting that he just needs a little bit of time, because normally he gets that time as we're putting the answers out there to do the bonus points. He hasn't got that. How's everyone feeling about the connection so far? Don't tell us. Obviously, don't put it in the comments whether what that connection is, but tell us whether you think you've got it, whether you're putting a guess, whether that guess is now been proved right or wrong. How confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that you've got the connection? Because there's 4 more clues coming after we've done these bonuses.
Well, I'm not confident at all. I have nothing so far. Be interested to see how people are feeling. Don't give any clues away, folks. I will use this time while Chris has just got his head down and checking things to do a bit of plugging, because otherwise I'd have to do it later on. So I mentioned it earlier, but for those of you that are podcast devotees, you would know that Paul and I do the Hooked on Wrestling podcast, the How to Be Great podcast. And for the first week in 10 or 11, we've actually missed a week this week. We didn't do one this week. Paul was on holiday. I had a bit of a computer meltdown, so we just took a little break. But we will be back this week, unless there's another gut-wrenching issue. So this week, on around about Tuesday, probably, we will be recording this week's How to Be Great podcast. And our question is, what is the greatest ever wrestling submission finisher? That is the what we want you to come up with. So don't necessarily put it in the chat now, although you can chat about it if you wish. But on social media in the coming days, on Facebook and Twitter, you can find us on HO_wrestling on Twitter and search for Hooked on Wrestling on Facebook. We will put that question out there. What is the best ever, the greatest ever submission finisher? And we want you to say the finisher and the person. So, for example, Matt Barber has said the sharpshooter. We'd like you to say Bret Hart's sharpshooter, because let's face it, there's a hell of a lot better than everyone else's sharpshooter that's done it since, such as, The Rock or whoever. But, Natty does a very good sharpshooter. Sting obviously had the Scorpion leg lock. So we'd like to say, and Jenny's just mentioned the figure 4 down the Texas Cloverleaf. We'd like you to put a name on it as well. So we're gonna be specific. So we're gonna be saying Dean Malenko's Texas Cloverleaf, Ric Flair's figure 4, or Jeff Jarrett's figure 4, or Buddy Landell's figure 4, or whoever you want to go with. So that'll be the chat. So yeah, please have a think about that and get back to us on the social media when we put that up in the next couple of days. Are we ready, Paul?
Sweet, we are indeed. Chris is coming back into the equation. Hatchamania, let's have some Pointermania.
Yeah, apologies, that took a bit longer. There was a bit of a wider spread of numbers there. Patrick Heafield, 3. Will Gibson, 4. Leanne Culverhouse, 2. Andy Parfitt, 1. Matt Danielczuk, 1. Matt Barber, 1. Matt Thorpe, 1. Richard Horrigan, 1.
Well done, everyone there. As always, we'll just get those one more time from you, Chris.
Yeah, Will Kitchen, 4. Patrick Heafield, 3. Leanne Culverhouse, 2. Andy Parfitt, 1. Matt Danielczuk, 1. Matt Barber, 1. Matt Thorpe, 1. And Richard Horrigan, 1.
Awesome. So, guys, just to be completely clear, the points that Chris has just read out, that is on top of the ones you got in the first block. It's not a total. So, it's the ones you've got for the last 5 questions. Okay? Chris, are we all set for the next block? Can we crack on?
Yeah, off you go, mate.
Okay, mate. See you soon.
Right. Are we going to mention the fact that we're giving Chris a little bit of a week off on his
yeah, well... We're going to give him a couple of. We gave him last week off. We're going to give him this week off. We don't want to besmirch it with any poor impression. So we're just thinking of a few more good ones that we can bring back, and we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to gimmick it up and end up watering it down. It's going to come back soon, and you're going to love it. So Chris will not be gimmicking up this week, but he might do next week. So anyway, guys, question number 11. Which 80s and 90s wrestler famously insisted the referee count a 5 count when he pinned his opponents? Which 80s and 90s wrestler famously insisted referees gave him a 5 count when he pinned his opponent?
Specifically, 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Because I can think of someone else. I can think of someone else that's done that, but they're very much not 80s and 90s.
Yeah, someone's done it. You know, Big E used to do it in NXT, for instance, which is why I've specified 80s and 90s. Yeah, it wasn't Big E.
That's what I'm getting.
It was very specifically that. Looks like we got Matt. Matt's a big fan of Hatchamania. I'm not surprised. He should be. Everyone should be. When we get things, when British wrestling gets going again after the pandemic, hopefully more people will get to see Chris in his zebra stripes in the actual ring rather than just
him.
here. We do indeed.
Let me just hashtag Hatchamania merch.
It's coming, mate. It's coming. Let's just see if we've got some in. We have got some answers.
Jenny Nelson in the chat is first of all great name because it's a good wrestling name. I'd like her middle name is presumably half or full or 3/4 or something like that. But another beer ? She says presumably of me. It's just
she's checking up on you, mate.
How many have I had this week? If you're counting.
You're right. You're nice office reference there, mate.
Little office reference there.
Right, question number.
Seem to know a lot about my habits.
Let's get your answer in, mate. What's your answer to question 11?
So it's not the up to date version of the counter to 5. So no biggie, but it is King Kong Bundy. Okay,
not Big E Bundy. Okay, right. Question number 12.
Sort of vaguely knocking around a theme. I've got 4 or 5 things that there's a thematic theme, but not a tangible one. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but go on. I haven't got no answer to give
let's give you
linking up.
Let's give you question 12. In the early days of TNA, which wrestler formed various tag teams with partners such as New Jack, D-Ray 3000, Mad Mikey, and Curryman? In the early days of TNA, which wrestler formed various tag teams with New Jack, D-Day 3000, D-Ray 3000, not D-Day 3000. Would that be like an Allied Powers gimmick? New Jack, D-Ray 3000, Mad Mikey, and Curryman. So those of you who don't know, Mad Mikey was Crash Holly. Did you know that?
Mayor Mike Lockwood. But I did know that. I don't know who D-Ray 3. I mean, I might have my TNA since 2002 shirt on, but quite frankly, I got given that for free. It's not a truth. I probably started watching TNA in around about 2007.
D-Ray 3000 is someone who's not gone on to do anything of note in wrestling. He's gone on to do bugger all. He was just a lower card jobber in the early days of TNA.
Sorry, I just got to say, Paul, in addressing Paul Robson's quote in the chat, I was messing, Paul. I love the fact that you've stood up for me. That's really nice.
But it's all in good jest.
It's all in good fun. Jenny's having fun with us, and I was just quoting The Office and being a bit silly. So it's cool. But thank you, Paul. He's a good lad. He joined in my my Premier League predictions game on Facebook as well, which he's a good lad. Right. I only have one answer here.
Well, I only need one. Let's see if it's right.
I don't necessarily think it's right, but it's someone that I know who had a team with Curryman. And he was around TNA from an early point. So I will say Shark Boy.
Shark Boy. Okie doke. So that was question 12. So obviously now the best one to go to is question 13.
It's okay, Paul. No problem, mate.
There you go. What was the name of the WCW pay-per-view held annually at the Sturgis Biker Rally? What was the name of the WCW pay-per-view that was held annually for about 4 years at the Sturgis Biker Rally?
Right. I think they changed the name of that.
They did, and I'll accept either. They didn't wholly change it, but they did tweak it.
Okay.
And either will be fine. And I was going to say something else then, but I won't. I'll keep stum. But yeah, we'll accept either.
Okay. Oh, still I have this sort of weird, it's just off connection. It's just not quite a connection. This is infuriating.
I personally, right, I don't think you'll get it. I think others will. I don't think you will.
No. Okay. That's interesting you say that, because I thought of something I nearly said earlier on for something else. For question 4.
Remember, Rob, if you get it, wang it in our private chat.
Yeah, I will do. But I'm not convinced. I wonder how many people went early on the connection and are now regretting it, because the whole thing with connections rounds, they can throw you a little. So that would be interesting.
That was not done by accident. I would. I would indeed. Yeah.
I'm not sure which way round it was, but I think it was Hog Wild, which got renamed Road Wild, or vice versa. But a combination of Road Wild or Hog Wild would be my answer. Well, if you will accept it.
In due course, I will let you know. So we're coming on now to question 14, which is the last actual question of my block. And obviously then there will be the connection itself. So question 14. If Mark and Jay are the Briscoes and Jacques and Raymond were the Rougeaus, second mention they get tonight, what were Jacob and Eli? If Mark and Jay are the Briscoes and Jacques and Raymond were the Rougeaus, what were Jacob and Eli?
Well, I know that as well. How the bloody hell did that just I think I'm going to give up on this, because it's,
just to let you know, sorry, just to jump in quick, I'm not looking for the word brothers on that one. They're all brother teams. Yeah. I'm looking for
gimmick surname.
Yeah.
What's their gimmick surname? Although the Rougeaus and the Briscoes, the Rougeaus and the Briscoes, it's their real name, but you're asking what's the gimmick surname.
Correct. I do love how so many people have jumped in early, and there's been 2 specific guesses on the connection that has been off kilter. I've only seen one come through that's got it right, and I wonder, just by a quick show of hands in the comments, how many people went early with the connection that now feel like they've got the actual connection.
That means people have got 2 ideas of a connection and I've got nothing.
Well, just to make yourself feel better, Rob, give us the answer to question 14. What have you got for that?
It's blue.
Okay.
Jacob and Eli, blue.
So, are you going to give me something for question 15? Or are you just going to submit?
No, I'm going to have to, aren't I? But they feel... It feels like, and this is very, I'm stalling a little bit, partially because to try and get my words out, but partially because once I say something, I don't want to ruin everything for everybody. But I feel like it's got something to do with, like last week you did horror film. I know you're a big film guy, right? I feel like these things are sort of almost disaster movies. So you've got things that have gone wrong. The Avalanche and Flames were the first 2. They're things that can go wrong. Then you've got King Kong in there. There might be a shark, although I don't know if that's right or not. They feel like disaster movie connections. But because you said I won't know, I wonder if it's maybe some sort of superhero thing or a Marvel thing or one of those sort of...
To be fair, you don't know anything about films, full stop. Be it disaster, rom-coms, superhero films, doesn't matter.
I got horror films after question 4 last week, mate.
Give us a quick one. We are running long this week, so give me an answer or not, and we'll crack on.
I will say it's disaster movies.
Disaster movies. Okie doke. Right. Well, let's go through the answers then, shall we? So, question 6: what gimmick did John tend to use initially when he joined WCW in 1995? Rob, you said.
I said Avalanche. I was going to say the Shark, but I think it was Avalanche first.
I wanted to trip you up with that, but I didn't manage to trip you up. It was indeed Avalanche. Question 2: What did the late Bam Bam Bigelow have tattooed on his forehead? You said fire,
Well,
I believe.
I said fire. I nearly said the word flames. There was that sort of fiery flame.
Either acceptable. Fire, flames. I don't think there's anything else you'd potentially call it, but that's it. It's flames. Question. So that was question 7. Question 8. Which masked superstar made his long-awaited WWE return as a mystery entrant at the 2018 Royal Rumble, drawing number 21? Rob, you said Rey Mysterio. He did indeed make his return at that Royal Rumble, but he drew number 27.
You bastard!
It was the Hurricane.
Okay. So it's going to be some sort of, but then not. It feels like it should be some sort of natural disaster thing now because of avalanche and flames and hurricane. But then I know the Knights is right, so that doesn't fit.
Question number 9. We'll see how we go.
This is going to be some sort of comic book thing, I think.
Question number 9. What was the tag team name used when the wrestlers known as King Tonga and the Tonga Kid came together? You were quite right with with them. They are Haku and Tama, and I believe you said the Islanders.
I did say the Islanders. I'm slightly worried it's the Samoan SWAT team.
Nope, you are absolutely correct the first time. It's the Islanders. So you got that one right. So how many are you on so far? You're on 1, 2.
No, I've got 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. Okay, question number 10. Greg Valentine, Barry Horowitz, and Jeff Gaylord once teamed together at the Survivor Series under what collective team name? Again, you were right. It was the Knights. They were at Survivor Series 1993, teaming with Shawn Michaels. Actually, should have been Jerry Lawler, but he had some legal problems, so it was replaced by Shawn Michaels. The Knights. So I'll obviously accept Shawn Michaels and the Knights, or just the Knights, or whatever you wish. So, question 11. By what gimmick name is... sorry, I changed the question to make it a little easier. Which wrestler in the 80s and 90s famously asked the referee to administer a 5 count for his pinfalls? You were right again, Rob. King Kong Bundy. Okay, question number 12. In the early days of TNA, who formed various tag teams with New Jack, D-Ray 3000, Mad Mikey, and Curryman? You're on a roll, mate. Shark Boy is the correct answer.
Well, it was a shot in the it was a shot in the twilight. It wasn't a shot in the dark. There was a bit of light shining through yonder window.
Question 13. What was the name of the WCW pay-per-view held annually at the Sturgis Biker Rally? You said Road Wild / Hog Wild, and that's bang on. So it was Hog Wild in year 1 and Road Wild in the subsequent 3 years. I will accept either. And question number 14. If Mark and Jay are the Briscoes and Jacques and Raymond were the Rougeaus, what were Jacob and Eli? Another one for you, mate. They were the Blue Brothers. Okay.
So I've got 8 out of 10. It's just I just haven't got the connection.
You haven't got the connection, and I'll give you the connection now. The connection, and I'll go through them all to show my workings afterwards. Question 15. The connection of them all together is actually, drum roll please, NHL ice hockey teams.
Oh,
You've got the Colorado Avalanche.
Is it really?
The Colorado Avalanche, the Calgary Flames, the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Islanders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Los Angeles Kings, the San Jose Sharks, the Minnesota Wild, the St. Louis Blues. You're 9, and they are all NHL ice hockey teams. So well done to anyone who got that. That was not a straightforward one. I think you'll feel very smug if you got that one right, to be honest.
Do you know what? Do you know what? That's a really good connection. That's a really good connection because I don't know anything about ice hockey, but that's gettable. You can look at those. The one that was bothering me was Islanders. And I just looked at that and I thought, that doesn't fit anything. I assumed I was wrong. And looked at Islanders and thought, I must have that wrong. But I was looking at the rest of it and they just didn't all fit. But yeah, Hurricanes, Islanders, Knights, yeah. But I saw Avalanche and Fire and King Kong and Sharks. It looked all... I started to think it was going to be some sort of X-Men or Fabulous Four, what are they called? Fabulous Four, Fantastic Four. I thought it was going to be some sort of... like they've got the power of Avalanche, the power of Fire. They sound like an X-Men thing to me. Or what are they called? Avengers? I thought it was going to be something along those lines because I know I know nothing about that.
You still had a good round. You got 8 out of 10. So well done.
I'll
I
take
literally
it.
can't. I can't beat you now. I can't beat you. I can only draw if I get a perfect round. So right. Chris needs to come in for the bonuses for that one, and then we will crack on to the last 5 questions. Chris, you got some satisfaction from seeing some wrong guesses there, I imagine, mate.
I did, yeah, but I was very impressed at how early a couple of people came in with it because that was not an easy connection at all. So
no, I can well imagine. So give us the bonus points for those last 5 questions, then, please, mate.
Yeah. So Will Kitchen 5, Chris Marden 3, Matt Barber 2, Patrick Heafield 2, Adam Pearson 1, Andy Parfitt 1, and Leanne Culverhouse 1.
Well done, everyone, and a special well done to Will Kitchen, who did indeed get the bonus, get the connection after 2 questions. Bloody well done, mate, because that was a very hard one to get after 2. It could have been a numerous things, so top marks there. Chris, can you just repeat those for us one more time, and we'll crack on?
Yep, Will Kitchen 5, Chris Marden 3, Matt Barber 2, Patrick Heafield 2, Adam Pearson 1, Andy Parfitt 1, and Leanne Culverhouse 1.
Brilliant. Nice one, mate. Thank you very much. We'll add those to your scores, guys, and keep a running tally, and we will get into the home straight now. I think it's quite open, actually, this week. So, Chris, eyes down, buddy. We'll see you in 5 questions.
Well, it's interesting, it's interesting that it's open because these 5 questions I'm about to do are... First of all, I will say that it's going to be hard to score points, but it's very, very open in terms of being able to get them. They're not beyond anybody. You will absolutely be able to give an informed guess at least 3 or 4 of them, if not all of them. But it's going to be hard to nail down. The idea is this is opening the questions up. They're not the standard trivia questions. Who did this? Who did this? Basically, I'm going to give you some parameters around some numbers and those kind of things, and you're going to tell me who has done the most or the biggest, or you'll see what we do as we go along. Before that, though, a quick one to take a little detour and ask a little, you to tell a bit of a story, Paul. You sent me some, basically every week, those of you that are regular, know that apart from Chris, when we get him to dress up to give us the points occasionally, some of the most entertaining parts of this quiz night often are tales about Paul's son. Paul's son, Samuel, is 6 going on 21. Is very knowledgeable for his age. I'm not going to get Paul to tell the story about why his son was asking for directions in Russian or in a Russian accent over the last couple of days, because that's a separate story entirely. But Samuel, I believe, Paul, booked a fantasy tournament, a fantasy wrestling tournament. I want you to tell the lovely ladies and gentlemen a little bit more about that tournament.
So Samuel just sat down the other day and decided he said he wanted to do a tournament of wrestlers. Funny enough, I've written them down here. He wanted to do a tournament of the wrestlers that he knew, and he wanted me to write them down and draw them out. And he wanted to decide who'd win this tournament. So just to indulge it very, very, very quickly, because this is very random, Samuel's 8-man tournament was Ric Flair versus Walter, Daniel Bryan versus LOD Animal, Trent Seven versus Ricochet, and Dave Mastiff versus LOD Hawk. Quite eclectic taste in wrestlers there.
How amazing is that? Before you go any further, but I know this boy, right? And Paul will not have prompted this. This will be all out of Samuel's brain. Read those 8 again, really quickly. Read those 8 again. What an amazing 8 choices for a 6-year-old.
Ric Flair, Walter, Daniel Bryan, Animal, Trent Seven, Ricochet, Dave Mastiff, and Hawk. And just to let you know, the kid has got booking now as well, because he booked it through to Walter versus Animal in the semis, Trent Seven versus Hawk. Avoided the old Legion of Doom obvious one and went with the final of Walter versus Hawk, with Walter going over. So, yeah. Oh, and then tonight he sat around the dinner table and asked me to basically book my dream wrestling match, which I did. And then he told me he'd like to see Drew McIntyre against Brock Lesnar in a Money in the Bank match, which ended up with the guys having to climb the World Trade Center to get 3 Money in the Bank contracts, so they could have 3 shots because they climbed so high. Anyway, that's Samuel's tournament now. So let's crack on with the questions.
Your son's a legend.
He's the star, isn't he? He's a star.
I was kind of hoping that he might have booked the final to be Aleister Black versus Hawk, because then it would have fit your theme, wouldn't it? We could have had Black Hawk.
We could.
But there we go. Right. Okay, here come my 5. They are the final 5. They are numbers 16 to 20. Same rules apply for sending them in. Number it. The first one, number 16, and send in your answer, etc. No theme to these. You don't have to try and find a connection, hidden or otherwise. They're similar sorts of questions, but there's no particular theme that you have to find. No delving deep into our subconsciousness. Right. Okay. The first question, you've got a choice of 4. I don't often do a multiple choice question. But a choice of 4 in this one. I'm not going to tell you the 4, but you will automatically know, I would imagine. Question 16. Who is the oldest of the Undisputed Era? Who is the oldest of the Undisputed Era? That is question number 16. All of these are numbers based, basically, but I know the numbers, and I'm asking you to come up with something. So on this one, it's an age question. So who is the oldest of the Undisputed Era?
Okay. Very good question. I think I know who it's not, but I don't know who it is.
If we were doing a much more in-depth sort of sit-down proper quiz where people write it down and hand it in and we could check it, I would consider doing a little thing where you had to name them in order. I think that would be quite a fun thing to do, where you've got to say what they are in order. Maybe like a mastermind thing where you do them in order and you get a couple more goes at it. But for the purposes of this question, we're just saying which is the oldest of the 4.
God, my lighting is making me look like a haggard old dude today, but
I remember to put my light on today for the first time ever. Well, I've got a light that moves around a bit, so I can change my lighting. But,
good bully for you. I don't. In fact, I'm going to try.
Bully Ray for me.
I'm going to try my little spotlight and see if that makes it any better, because I am an egomaniac. Oh, that's much better. That's much better. Hello, light. Right. I'm going to give you an answer now, Rob. My answer is Roderick Strong.
Okay. Number 17. So another numbers. Well, this is probably the hardest of the 5, I think. Or at least it's the one that, maybe not the hardest, but it's the one that needs the most sort of delving. Of all the people that have entered the Royal Rumble match, and I mean the Royal Rumble match here as opposed to subsidiary Rumbles that have been on Raw or on Greatest Rumbles and those sorts of things. And I also mean the male Royal Rumbles. Okay, so of the men's Royal Rumbles that have taken place at Royal Rumble pay-per-views, who has spent the longest time in a Royal Rumble match but has never won a world title in WWF/WWE? So let me just rephrase that. Stop sighing because you're speaking over the question. Of all the people that have ever been in a Royal Rumble match, who has been in the match for the longest time but has never held a world title in that company? So whether it's WWF, WWE, WWF, whatever the title may be, and also whether it's the world title, the WWF title, the Universal title, come what may. So there's lots of parameters on that, but basically, who has been in the Royal Rumble for the longest time in one single Rumble, but has never been world champion?
Oh, in one single Rumble rather than cumulative.
Single Rumble, not cumulative.
Right, okay.
One single Rumble. I'll even tell you well, I haven't got the exact time, but they said it was around about 51 minutes. I don't have it. I haven't written it down.
I think I know the answer. I thought you meant cumulative.
No, not cumulative. Setting a time for being like, for example, I'll say this one because I think everyone knows that he was a world champion. Ric Flair famously was in for an hour, wasn't he, in 1992, and set a big long number for one Rumble, the record at the time. However, he's been the world champion in that. Not only world champion in that company, became world champion on that performance. But of all the people that have set those big numbers, I think only one of the top 20 has never been world champion, and it's this person. So that's the question. It's a bit convoluted, but it's a fun question.
I think I've got an answer to that, actually. I think I know this. I'm gonna look like a real smarty pants if I'm right, and I'm gonna look like a real fool if I'm setting myself up for a fall here. But I think I've got it. I'm just going to give people the 20-30 seconds to come up with an answer. Then I'm going to spit it out. It's a really good question.
I think if you would have asked me this, I think I would have come up with 2. I think I would have had 2 options. So I'll be interested to see if you pick one of those 2.
Once I give you my answer, don't tell me the other option, but tell me whether this guy was one of your options.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
So my answer, my guess, my whatever you want to call it, is Rick Martel.
Okay. That was one of the 2. Okay. I'm not saying if it's right or not, but that was one of the 2. Question 18 is next. Before I do question 18, just a reminder, certainly if you've been here from the start and you've been entering answers for all the questions so far, please stick with us right to the end of 20, because once we get to the end, we'll do the answers to these 5, we'll do Hatch's bonuses as normal, and we'll find out who the winner is, but we also have the draw for the Undertaker Last Ride merch. And once again, we'd like to thank WWE Euroshop for providing us with that, as Paul said in a very funny story.
And for their administrative error.
And for their wonderful administrative error. Question number 18. We often hear about a certain somebody and their streak at WrestleMania. That is the person that has won the most WrestleMania matches. Who has lost the most matches at WrestleMania? Who has lost more matches than anyone else at WrestleMania? I will offer the caveat that I mean the main show, not including pre-shows, dark matches, etc. But I believe the answer would be the same either way. I'm not sure about that, but I think it would be the answer either way. But to be clear, I am talking about the pay-per-view of WrestleMania. So not dark matches, not pre-show matches, not free-for-all matches, but the actual show itself. Who has lost more matches than anyone else at WrestleMania?
An answer came into my head straight away for this one.
Okay, that's good. Doesn't mean it's right.
No, but it means, I'm definitive in that answer. Yeah, can't think of anyone that would put ahead of them. Anyway, yeah. So these are really good. These are very interesting questions, actually, Rob. So that you're right when you say they're open ended. You really make you think about this.
I think that's fun to go into. Like I say, I don't think they are easy by any stretch of the imagination. So again, if you struggle with points on my round, it doesn't mean you're daft or anything. These are hard questions. They are designed to be hard questions, but they are also designed to be things that you can have a good stab at. And when we do the answers, I'll give a few people that were nearly right, if you like. There's I think it's a fun round, is what I'm saying. It's a bit of fun, as Keith Barrett would say.
By the way, as well, what I was going to say to people, if anyone has any suggestions for future rounds, themes, topics, whatever, feel free to send us a direct message. We've not opened it up before, but we're more than happy to. If you've got a specialist subject you want us to use in future weeks, if you've got something that you think would make a really good quiz round, bang it to us on a direct message after the quiz. And if we like it, we'll use it in future quizzes. Look, let's face it, I have to come up with 30 questions a week between the 2 quizzes that we do. Rob has to come up with 10. Any help is appreciated, guys. Any inspiration. Rob's much better at his inspiration than me, but it's appreciated nonetheless. So we're flim-flammed enough on this.
Sorry, Paul. I will also say that a few weeks ago we did an Undertaker themed night, didn't we? Our entire quiz was broadly Undertaker themed. And I don't want to get into the metrics because we're not the demo kings or whatever it is, demo gods.
The demo gods.
But I think that the most people we ever had on a single night was the Undertaker night. Far. So it might be that people like a theme. So if you would like a theme in the future, give us some ideas for themes. Not just the theme of the rounds of 5 questions or 10 questions, but maybe you think we should do an entire night on, the 90s, or we should do an entire night on ECW, or we should do an entire night on whatever. Like we might find that those things are out there. And I will, Jenny, if you missed Undertaker night, don't worry, because on the Hooked on Wrestling YouTube channel, we keep all of the quizzes, and I think they might be on the Facebook page as well somewhere. So if you missed the Undertaker night, you can go back and watch. You can't join in the quiz, obviously, because it was at the time, but you still can play along at home, as it were. Yeah. So go and see those. They're still up on the YouTube and the Facebook, I believe.
So my answer to question 18, Rob, I've got Triple H.
Okay. That's Paul's answer to number 18. So just 2 to go. Number 19, similar sort of thing. Number 19, who has appeared in the most Elimination Chamber matches? That is to say, matches that have taken place inside the structure. So not matches at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, but the question is who has appeared in the most Elimination Chamber matches? That is to say, the most matches that have taken place inside Satan's structure. I was never quite sure if JR thought that was the worst one or Hell in a Cell. Whichever was the most recent one, that was the most horrible structure until 6 months later when the other one was. But we'll let JR off for being the greatest of all time and a massive legend.
Yes, we will. I've got an answer to this. It popped into my head straight away. It's not an obvious answer, but it's one that just keeps coming back to me. And I can't think of anyone who would have been in more, frankly.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm completely wrong. I probably am wrong. I'm probably wrong on this one, but I'm going to give you it anyway. Oh, I'm certainly wrong. Oh, bollocks. I'm going to change my mind.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to change my mind. I'll tell you what I was originally going to say later, or I'll admit it anyway if it isn't subsequently right.
Tell us when we're doing the answers.
So this is. I better change that. I've written the other one down. So I'll stick this one in. Okie doke. Right, I'm going to give you my answer now, Rob, if that's okay.
Fire away, sir.
I'm going to say Randy Orton.
Okay. Randy Orton, says Paul. And number 20. Either I think this is going to be considered one of the most fun questions I've ever done, or the shittest question I've ever done, quite frankly. It's after the watershed, I can say that word. So I will say that when I refer to this question, I'm referring to the current champions in WWE. Okay, that is to say, not NXT. So champions, right, but not NXT. Okay, so WWE branded champions, and I include singles champions and tag team champions. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's 10 people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 10 people that are current WWE champions of some sort in some way. So I want to make it very clear. I don't mean NXT. I mean WWE branded. So that's world champions, tag team champions, US IC. Of all of those champions in WWE, which of them is the closest to my age?
What?
And I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Paul should know because he's basically my best mate and should know these things. But I am not going to tell the rest of you. So I am happy to be offended by you thinking I'm older, or I'm happy to be flattered by you thinking I'm younger. But I am asking who is, of all of the champions in WWE right now, that is to say the WWE branded champions, not the NXT ones, which of them do you think is the closest to my age? And I will. Is the light being flattering to me tonight? No, I think I look my age, but we will see. Like you should know. I mean, this is. I'm not saying you should know all the champions' age, but you should at least know how old I am.
Well, I do.
No, Ash, mate, I would not ask a question like this if I wasn't afraid of people going for age. Go for the points, guys. Don't worry about offending me. I have heard everything over the years. It is really not a problem. I have been taken for being 10 or 12 years more than I am and less than I am. So it is really not in the last couple of years, admittedly, but I really don't care. You won't offend me by going one way or the other. But who do you think is the closest to my age? I also know yours, by the way. I've worked them all out, so I know who's closest to your age as well, Benson.
Do you now? Do you?
If you want to play that as another question.
Right, I've narrowed it down to 4.
There's only 10, so.
And I'm going to actually take that one off, so I'm going to make it 3. I've narrowed it down to 2, I think. We're plenty of guesses through yet, Chris. Shall I give it? I'm going to give it a guess, and it is a guess. I'm going to say Asuka.
Okay, I've just realised that I left one off, but I'm just it was only on my list, not of the answer, but just on my list when I go through them. What did you say?
I counted 11.
It's 11.
Asuka.
It's 11. But well, because there's double champ issues, aren't there? So I haven't written everyone down.
Adam Pearson reckons Bailey. Adam reckons Nicholas. You flatter the boy. Don't feed the ego, guys. Come on. I've just picked the oldest one I know.
Nicholas. I mean, I don't know how to take that. Wow. Okay.
Take it as a man that wants some extra bonus points.
I'm going to take it as a man that's taking the piss. Actually, is what I'm going to take.
Right. Let's have some answers.
When we get to that answer in a bit, we'll factor in that the NXT branded champions would have changed that massively. But right, who is the oldest of the Undisputed Era? Paul said Roderick Strong. Adam Cole is 31. Kyle O'Reilly is 33. Roderick Strong is 36. Bobby Fish is 43 years old.
Joking.
I mean, I ought to point out, folks, these are Wikipedia answers. I can only go off of what Wikipedia says, but I know we take the mick out of that website, but they're genuine. They're generally right. So if you can show me some birth certificates that make it wrong, then I will happily give you an extra point on this fun quiz in which there are no prizes. But yes, Bobby Fish is 43 years old. So by 7 years, he is the oldest of the Undisputed Era. It's not even close.
He's doing all right for it, isn't he? Okay, right, miles off.
There we are. Who has spent the longest time in a Royal Rumble match but has never won a world title in the company? Yeah, I think basically all of the people that are at the top in terms of the longest time have all been world champ. I think the top is Daniel Bryan if you include the Greatest Rumble.
Yes.
Other people that have been up there, you've got Mysterio, you've got Benoit, you've got Triple
Flair.
H, you've got Rey Mysterio, Ric Flair, etc., Bob Backlund, of course. But the person that has spent the most time but never won a world champion is Rick the Model Martel. Well done, Paul.
Yes.
I thought that there was Ted DiBiase early on was sort of famously was in there for a long time, and I think when Martel broke that record and they made a thing of it during a Rumble commentary. But I just thought DiBiase is sort of famously one of those always in the conversation, isn't he, for the best wrestler that was never world champion, if you don't include Andre handing him the belt, etc. But anyway, the answer is Martel. So well done, you got a point there. Who has the most losses at WrestleMania? Again, there's a few little tweaks on this if you include the pre-show and if you don't include the pre-show, and there's a couple of matches that are have they lost or have they drawn or whatever, but the answer is doesn't matter. The answer doesn't change. So wrong answers from 8 upwards. Shelton Benjamin has lost 8 times. Dolph Ziggler 9, Chris Jericho 9, Orton 10, Big Show 10, Kane 9, Shawn Michaels 11, but Triple H has lost 13 times. Triple H has lost more WrestleMania matches than anyone else. The answer to number 18 is Triple H, as Paul again rightly said. Well done. Number 19, who has appeared in the most Elimination Chamber matches? Who did you say there?
I said Randy Orton.
Paul said Randy Orton. Randy Orton has been in 7 Elimination Chamber matches. Kane has been in 5. Kofi has been in 5.
I nearly said Kofi.
Triple H has been in 6. Orton, as I said, has been in 7. John Cena has been in 7. One person's been in 8. And it's Chris Jericho.
Has he really?
Chris Jericho has been in 8 Elimination Chamber matches and is the number one. He is the answer to question 19. So, little bit of
We're
the
not going to get
twirling.
many. We're not going to get many bonus points given out on this round. I don't think it's a tough old round. But
like I say, folks, it is a tough round. I haven't got a problem even saying it's a tough one, but I also don't think it's not tough as in I would never get that. I think they're accessible. It's just you've got to come up with the right guesses. So, which of the champions in WWE is the closest to my age? Who did you say?
I said Asuka.
Okay. I, folks, turned 36 on April the 13th this year. So that's my age, okay? So I am, what is it now? The end of July. So I am 36 in about 3 and a bit months, okay? Curiously enough, Paul, if I was to ask who was the closest to your age, the answer would be Asuka.
Oh, okay.
She is 38 and is about 7 months older than you. Sasha Banks is 28. Bailey is 31. Apollo Crews is 32. Let me see who's further above. AJ Styles is 43. The Street Profits are both 30. Cesaro's 39. Shinsuke Nakamura is 40. Asuka is 38. Drew McIntyre is 14 months younger than me at the age of 35, but 7 months older than me. Well, in fact, 220 days older than me is Braun Strowman.
He was in my top 3, but he didn't make the one. You mentioned MVP. Did you mention MVP and AJ Styles?
I did mention AJ Styles. AJ Styles is 43. MVP isn't the champ, is he? I mean, MVP just took the belt.
Of course he's not. Apollo Crews is. Yeah, of course. I've written a MVP down too.
Yeah, even if MVP is considered champion, I think Haas is like 47, 48
or something.
So yeah, he's quite a lot older than me. So I wouldn't have said it was him. If I included NXT, because my original question was all the champions, and the answer I thought was going to be Keith Lee, who is 209 days away from my age. He's 209 days younger than me. But the issue became about whether or not our interim NXT Cruiserweight champion is or is not a champion, because he is 2 weeks younger than me.
Right.
Mr. Escobar, who I don't really know who he is because I don't watch NXT, but he's like 2 weeks younger than me. So the answer would have been Mr. Escobar. What's his first name?
Well, first of all, shame on you, because he is actually El Hijo del Fantasma, unmasked, and he is he's awesome, and he's not the interim champion anymore. WWE have canned that he's just the champion.
This is the thing. Yeah, but they also include Jordan Devlin as champion as well. So it's a thorny area, which is why I left it well alone. I think I also missed off his Shelton Benjamin. I think is the 24/7 champ as well, isn't he? He's 45.
Yes. As well. Well, let's get Hatchamania in and get some bonus points. Chris, I suspect we haven't got loads of bonus points to give out for that one, mate.
You'd be surprised. We did have 3 correct for each question.
Brilliant. So, well done, guys.
One thing I will very quickly mention before we go into this, the most popular opinion as the wrestler that would match Rob's age.
Go on.
AJ Styles.
Famously over 40. Rob. He's the measuring stick that most people use for, I can't believe this guy's 40 plus years old. Go on, Chris.
People just assume AJ's younger. They just assume he's younger.
Somebody did say Ric Flair, but I'm sure that was a joke. Anyway, bonus point for that round. Patrick Heafield 5, Will Kitchen 3, Adam Fran 2, Leanne Culverhouse 2, Adam Pearson 1, Matt Barber 1, and Matt Thorpe 1.
Brilliant. One more time, please, matey.
Yep, Patrick Heafield 5, Will Kitchen 3, Adam Ferran 2, Leanne Culverhouse 2, Adam Pearson 1, Matt Barber 1, and Matt Thorpe 1.
Awesome. Right, guys, please add up your scores. So add up the 20 questions you've got right, and then your bonus points, and put your scores into the comments. That's in. Well done, everyone, for entering, by the way. It's a tough one this week. We're not always this tough, but happy birthday for tomorrow, Jenny.
Yes, happy birthday.
We missed that earlier. We were too busy in Answerland. But whilst you're putting your answer in, Chris will check the top few to make sure. He usually has an inkling of who's got them right anyway. But whilst you guys are popping your answers in, me and Chris have slyly done the draw for the T-shirt. So, Chris, what names have we pulled out, mate, for the draw?
The two names out the hat are Amy Lee Parsons and Matt Thorpe.
Well done, Amy. Oh, two brand new names. Fantastic. Amy and Matt Thorpe. Well done, guys. So what you guys could do, if you don't mind, is just send me your address to send the T-shirts to and your preferred size on a DM in the next hour or so. I will get those out dispatched tomorrow. So just to read out some scores, we've had 31 from Will. Fantastic score, mate. Well done. Adam Pearson got 10, and I think we're going to have to put this quote on the front page, mate. It was harder than Mastermind.
Well, no, I would say not to put that on because that will keep people away. What I would like to know from Adam, and I'm assuming that's not. Is it the Adam Pearson that used to be chief executive of Hull? I'm assuming it isn't, but
I don't think so.
Is it more fun than Mastermind? That's the point, because old Humphreys, he's a bit miserable, but me and Paul are much more fun than John Humphreys, or maybe Magnus. I don't know how far back you go, but more fun than Mastermind, I'm sure he's saying. I do have a very similar chair though. I can't turn it around enough.
I have quite a similar chair, but
unfortunately I have a good black chair.
So 17 for Matt, 13 for Adam, a cracking 24 for Leanne. And Adam, I know her boyfriend plays on with us, two of the Hooked On family. Who else we got? 31 for Patrick. It looks like we have a tiebreaker situation. Again, unless anyone, Chris, can you verify the 31s for Will and Pat?
I'm verifying them now because they're slightly different to the scores I had down.
Stuart's inquiry coming up, guys. If anyone's still around. Again, thank you all for playing. What I tend to do is I will set up the next Facebook event in the next couple of days, and I'll DM you all with the event. So if you want to play along next week, just click going or interested to that Facebook event, and it'll send you a little reminder on Sunday morning, I believe, and then sort of a couple of hours before, just to let you know that we're still going. But it's every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Please come again. Please tell your friends. You know, we love doing this. We love crowds like this. We love interacting with you guys. And the more the merrier. Basically, we do this as much for our benefit as anybody else's because we have such a good time with it. So, Chris, I'm flim-flammed. Have you got the question? Have you got the answers?
Tiebreaker, I'm afraid.
Tiebreaker. Right, here we go. So, I've learned something tonight. Mastermind is filmed in Belfast. That is a new one on me. So I'm going to pick a random wrestling event. It'll be a big one. It won't be an obscure one. So I'm going to pick. Let's go recent. Shall we? Let's go recent.
Okay. I was going to fill while you're finding stuff. Have you got something?
I've got one. So guys, here's how we do this. I need you to give me your answers as a DM. It's not the fastest finger first on this one, but we do ask. We trust you both. You guys are regular, so we know you're not going to look up the answer, but obviously do it as quick as you can. I'm going to give you an event, and I want you to give me the attendance for that event. Quite simply, the quickest one, and that's the figure given by Wikipedia. Quite simply, the closest one to that mark will win. So guys, I want you to give me the attendance figure for this year's WrestleMania. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Right, no. Please give me the attendance figure for this year's Royal Rumble.
Good stuff. So this is for Will and for Patrick. Is that right? That's the two people that are in the
Will and
tiebreaker.
Patrick.
For everyone
anyone can send it in if you like, but it's only Will or Patrick that can.
Play along for fun. So Will and Patrick are going to send us in their guesses on direct message. For everyone else, give us a guess in the chat. It's up to Will or Patrick whether or not they see that or not. So they will do it nice and quickly and send it in. They won't cheat. We trust them. But everyone else can have a little guess on what they think is the Rumble guess. While we're just doing that, I will say to everybody, because there are a few new people here tonight who you might not know who we are. who Hooked on Wrestling is as a brand, and I won't give you our long history, but essentially we are a live events company. We put on pay-per-view parties all over the UK for the major pay-per-views, namely the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania and SummerSlam, with the occasional extra depending on the marketplace. Obviously right now we're not able to do our staple fare, but during lockdown we have launched hookedonwrestling.co.uk. So we would love you to see that site if you haven't seen that already. It's updated daily with lots of little news snippets, but also opinion pieces, fun things like the quiz, and lots of other things. But once everything is back to normal, God willing, it will be soon, we'll be back to doing our staple, which is Hooked on Wrestling parties. And the last one we did was the Royal Rumble, in which Paul's just asked the question for. So I don't know how many were there, but that was the last time we did one. I can't wait to do one again.
If you know us more for these quizzes, we do have a live pub quiz at each of these. So if you've not been to one of our parties before, they're all over the country. Please join us. I think the next one, it's not going to be SummerSlam. We're going to do a special bonus party later in the year once the situation allows. But then the first live pay-per-view we're going to come back with probably will be Royal Rumble next year. But we'll see. It's all up in the air, but it won't be SummerSlam. So, Chris, what have we got from Will and Pat?
So, Will, we've got 37,865. And Patrick's gone for a rounded 43,000.
Okay. It's a clear winner on that one.
Where was it this year? I can't remember where it was.
It was at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, which is a baseball stadium.
I've been there.
Not full by any stretch of the imagination, but the actual attendance given by Wikipedia is 42,715. So only 285 out. The winner is Patrick. Well done, mate. Very well done.
Very well played.
Excellent work there, mate, on the tiebreaker and, in fact, on your 31 points. So, guys, we are running long this week, so we've kept you long enough. I'm sure you all want to get back to your bedtime or your Netflixing or your WWE networking, but just again to say thank you all, especially the ones who've been with us for weeks and weeks. We really love you coming along, and feel free to keep chatting to us. We love talking wrestling throughout the week, and hopefully we will see most of you next Sunday at 8 p.m. Do let us know whether you've enjoyed this. Just bung us it in the comments, because we have massive egos, and we like to make sure that you guys are having a good time. Let us know any themes you'd like to see in the future, and those t-shirt winners, well done. And let's get us those addresses. Adam, I've just come back from a log cabin, so you'll have a great time there, mate. Guys, have a good one, and we'll see you all next week, and I'm sure we'll talk to you a lot of you before. All the best. Ta-ta.